What's up, guys and gals? Got a little special treat for you today. So I have been working on the DIY Themes website, trying to, shore up my sales channels, trying to get all the information real tight, and provide a very clear experience for visitors, prospective customers, existing customers, all that sort of thing. So getting all of my information flows together. And as part of this, putting together and really trying to enhance the Focus website showcase. And so what this is just a way for people who are using the software or who might be interested in the software, it's a way for them to see what other people are currently doing with the software. So you can see some examples of Focus running out in the wild. Okay? And I have made these types of pages, showcase pages, for many years. Especially every WordPress theme company really should have a showcase page, to show off how people are using the product. And I've done this for years, but this has always been sort of the biggest pain in the ass page to make on my entire website. It's a heavy maintenance page, and we'll look at my previous one from years past here. And so basically what I had is, just these little thumbnail links, these images to sites that were using the software. And I changed the way this worked through the years to different scenarios. But bottom line is I had to identify sites with customizations that I liked. I had to put these links together. I had to make these images. So I'd choose which image I wanted to crop to be representative of the site I'm linking to. Okay. In future versions of this is from 2014, I guess. But a couple years after that, I tried to include some little blurbs about what each site did, this used design options and also some professional customizations, and they're also using, WooCommerce or whatever it is. So additional information. And so eventually I had actually a custom PHP file that controlled the showcase output. Okay, but it was a heavy maintenance thing. So if the site changed, so maybe they did some design tweaks, maybe the images I had cropped were no longer relevant, maybe some of the text and stuff I had included was no longer relevant. Bottom line is things were changing. If things did change, then I had to keep track of those changes and then go into my little app that controlled this thing and update all the information. And whenever the changes involve the pictures in particular, it's a high maintenance activity. It just sucks. I mean, to create an image that I would upload onto my website, I not only have to create the image, but I have to compress it. I have to make sure it's super optimized. It needs to be the right size. It needs to display, in a way that looks good to me. All those types of things. So that's a heavy maintenance activity. So because of my experience in the past with these showcase type pages, I really sort of not too keen on going down that path again. So with Focus, when I first set up the website showcase, I just did this. It's a list of links. I bolded the names of the sites. I told you a little bit about them, and maybe if you click through, you got to see them. But this is not a visually exciting page. This is not what people think of when they think of a website showcase. They want to see some pictures. At least this sort of gives you a hint about what you're going to click through and find out, and it's visually stimulating. This is fun to click around. This, less so. This is a lot of work. I'm reading. I don't love this. This doesn't work. This page has not been very effective since I launched it. Certainly hasn't been as effective as showcase pages were in the past. People don't link to it as much. People don't spend as much time on this page. I can tell from the statistics and everything else that this is not a very good web page. And so I was thinking about, well, how can I make this page better? And how can I reduce the maintenance required to create it? This was easy, this list. This is easy, this is low maintenance, but it's not effective. It's not good enough. And if you've stuck with my content for any length of time, you know that I have released something in the past called the Open Graph Box. So let's take a look at that real quick. There we go. And so the Open Graph Box is it adds some meta tags to your website head. So these are invisible to you, the website owner. But if you have them, it is a way to enhance the way links to your website appear when they're shared in social media or anywhere else that supports the Open Graph protocol. So here's a tweet that contains a link to a page with this image specified in the Open Graph tags, and also this title, and this description, and this URL. All that stuff is defined in the Open Graph tags and can be used to enhance the display of links to my site for any site that's equipped with this stuff. And so I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, well, what if I could use Open Graph tags as the source of information for the sites in my website showcase? That way, I wouldn't be choosing the image that gets shared. I wouldn't have to go crop it. I wouldn't have to deal. I wouldn't have to, you know, so sometimes I want to, like certain people want to, you know, showcase their website, use the site title like in all capital letters. You know, editorial decisions by the author, but if that's how they want to convey their website, maybe someone wants to be E.E. Cummings and do everything in lowercase, whatever. The bottom line is there's little preferences that people have in the way that they present their brand to the world, and if I wasn't paying close attention in creating the showcase, I might violate that. So-and-so uses all lowercase, I don't honor that, I capitalize stuff. It's kind of lame, right? It'd be better if the site owner had a choice about exact and control over the way the information from their site was shared. So I'm bringing that up just to say, to highlight some of the weaknesses in the old showcase model. And with Open Graph, though, you can specify an image, title, all sorts of supplemental information. And there's really enough information there for me to use as the foundation for a website showcase. So once I got this idea in my head, I had to build this little thing to see if I could create a website showcase from Open Graph tags. The answer is you can. So here's what I got. So Open Graph output, this thing here is known as a card. And so I created these cards from, from Open Graph tags. And these are sites running Focus that are also equipped with Open Graph tags. And I've chosen to put these sites in the showcase. But all I need for each site, this text aside, but all I need for each site is the URL. And as long as the URL, the homepage is equipped with Open Graph tags, I can generate this rich output that creates a much more engaging showcase. Like this is way more interesting to scroll and read, and visually this is far more interesting than this, which has no pictures and looks super boring, and I have to read this. Like, I'm not reading this. And my website stats show that indeed nobody else is reading this either. But this will get action. This will get clicks. People will read this. People will learn a little bit more about the software. This works. Okay, so I want to show you real quick how this works. I just wanted to share this. It's not really going anywhere with this. Not trying to sell you anything. I just think this is a really cool way to do a showcase, and I suspect WordPress theme companies and anyone else attempting to do showcases in the future is going to follow suit with this approach because it just works. But I want to talk through this. So one of the problems, well, I'll highlight the problems as I show you how it works, okay? So we'll flip over the admin side here. We're going to go to our little Open Graph showcase management page. So the way I built this thing, I can control how many items are in the showcase, and then for each item, I've got a URL, just specify the URL, and then I've got a description that I built in here because I wanted to add descriptive text to give browsers, people looking at this page, an idea of what these sites are doing. Since I can't be there to narrate in their ear as they browse the other website, this is the next best thing. I can say, hey, look, they're using focus mode here. This guy's also using the breadcrumbs box, and he's used the design options for most of his customization. So doesn't have to be a professional designer to do this. This is not some big money thing where he paid an agency. No. He was able to use the stuff that was built into Focus to create a great website. Okay, so really, this is the only information I really need to be able to do the Open Graph card output. Is just the URL. But like I said, I added this to enhance the output. But the way this works is when I save this little algorithm goes out to these websites, runs what's called a curl request, and tries to download the data from the Open Graph tags. Okay, so when that happens, so if you were just if you were just trying to include Open Graph support, like as you type. So for example, like I type in a URL, let's say imagine I'm composing a WordPress post. I want to have enhanced Open Graph output like this when I include a link. Well, if you're going to do that, you type in the link, but then this little algorithm would have to run and fetch this data. And so it's slow. The point of this is that it's slow to fetch Open Graph data on the fly. And this is a web page on my website. I demand that all my pages be super, super freaking fast. I can't be having, right now there's 18 sites in the showcase. I can't be waiting for 18 sites to get scraped and then this information gets populated on this page. So if I just included the Open Graph tags and hit save my post, and then when somebody viewed it, if all that information was being fetched when somebody viewed it, the page would be very slow and it would be super inefficient. This information only needs to be fetched one time and can be served to millions of people. It doesn't make sense to have every single visitor visit and have this information be downloaded. So how do we address that problem? Well, we fetch the information when it is asked for, when it is input here. So for example, when you hit save, and we'll do this, I'll just do it to illustrate how long it takes to generate the information for these 18 sites, but let's do it. So boom, we just started. We'll see how long it takes to confirm the save. So it's taking a little bit. It's going out to each URL right now and refreshing this data. I'll go in a second. I'll explain why this is so cool. So it's still saving. It takes a little bit of time to fetch that Open Graph data. There it is. We now have our data. And so so that's all it took to get the data. Now we can serve it to millions of people. But if these sites change, maybe they change the image, maybe they change the way they do their typography, like Jack Murphy Live has his stuff all in all caps. Maybe he changes that to regular casing. Okay, perhaps like I said, image changes, any other changes like that. Under the old showcase setup, I would have to know somehow, like just stumble across the fact that these sites have changed the way they do stuff. And I would have to go into my database and update the information accordingly, and then it would be reflected here for any visitors to the site. With this Open Graph approach, I can fetch new information every time I hit save, and this thing also runs a cron job every third day, and it takes 20 seconds or however long it took. So every third day, this thing's going to hit these URLs and refresh this data just to make sure that the picture and the typography and stuff is always current. And so that way it's a no maintenance solution, or extremely low maintenance compared to the way things used to be in the past. It's a low maintenance, high performance solution for a website showcase. This is really great. This is super useful. So obviously I'm excited about this. I am going to be releasing this as some sort of product, either as it's going to be a thesis box first or focus box. So if you want to do this on your own site, you'll be able to do that soon enough. But like I said, I'm not selling this right now. It's not for sale yet. But I certainly wanted to share this and get some of y'all's thoughts on this type of arrangement, because I think this is super useful. And I can see this working and being very effective in a lot of contexts that aren't just a website showcase, okay? That's sort of what's cool about this. It's like, wow, how else can we use Open Graph content like this to enhance what we deliver to our audience? How else can this be used to enhance what we do? So anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Oh, I'll also be releasing this at some point, probably as a WordPress plugin, assuming there's going to be interest in this. So anyway, that's sort of exciting. And I just really like that this is sort of, this is not your obvious usage of Open Graph, but this is certainly one way that it can be leveraged to our benefit. And there's probably many, many other ways I haven't thought of yet. So that's exciting. And I'm happy to share this with you guys today. So if you like this, please let me know in the comments. Let's talk about this. If you got any other good ideas for how to use Open Graph Tag, let's talk about that too. So anyway, drop a note to me in the comments if you like this stuff. Be sure to smash that like button. That helps me out and helps my channel grow. And thanks for watching. We'll see you around.